Welcome, Star Wars fans, to the Hyperspace Database. I am Jonesy, your humble host, bringing you today's topic, the Alpha Assault Gunboat. The Alpha-class Xg-1 Starwing, or the Assault Gunboat as it was otherwise known as, was a mid-sized starfighter developed by the Cygnus Spaceworks Corporation for the Empire, and saw action primarily during the First Galactic Civil War against the Rebel Alliance. The Assault Gunboat was 33 feet long, 49 feet wide, and 24 feet high. It had a maximum atmospheric speed of 653 miles per hour in atmosphere with its dual-line ion engines, and had a Class 1 hyperdrive with a backup Class 10. It had deflector shields and a quadranium steel armored titanium hull. Its heavy armament varied depending on its loadout, but was typically equipped with 2 chin-mounted laser cannons, 2 ion cannons above the cockpit, and 2 warhead launchers on either side of the cockpit. It was also known to carry a tractor beam projector at times for special missions. The standard payload for the ship was 16 concussion missiles, but could be customized to hold 12 proton torpedoes, 8 heavy rockets, ion torpedoes, or 4 heavy space bombs. The body design of the assault gunboat was very similar to the Imperial Lambda-class shuttle, which was also developed by Cygnus Spaceworks, with the folding tri-wing design and the sleek cockpit protruding from the center of the ship to give the pilot a larger field of view. While the body design was similar, the assault gunboat was definitely designed for heavy combat, with the addition of its warhead launchers along the cockpit as a clear indicator as to its primary function. Another distinguishing feature of this ship was its additional maneuvering wings that protruded from the central pod, which greatly boosted the maneuverability of the ship. One of the biggest advantages of this fighter was the set of heavy deflector shields and the onboard hyperdrive system, which were not standard Imperial features on fighters, though in order to house these systems, more room had to be made aboard the ship, and this made the craft slower and less maneuverable than other multi-role fighters. As an independent Imperial fighter, this ship often operated separately from other carrier ships, like Star Destroyers and freighters, mostly because of its onboard hyperdrive system. This was used to great effect in raids against convoys and space stations, as the gunboat would drop out of hyperspace, hit the target fast, and get out before enemy ships had time to scramble. The gunboat also served as a recon vehicle because of its heavy armor, which allowed it to take a beating and still get through an enemy blockade and out again. Outside of the Empire, the gunboat was used effectively as a planetary patrol ship, with its ion cannons being able to disable a ship for inspection or to detain them for questioning. It was also often used as a bomber due to its large payload capacity, and supplemented many starfighter squadrons in this role as they attacked enemy convoys and bases. The heavy armor and shielding of the assault gunboat made it a fearsome foe to engage at close range. The armor was even boasted as being strong enough to survive a direct hit from a concussion missile. These ships could be depended on to take a beating and still come back in one piece. They were often called on to spearhead starfighter attacks, as they shielded other, weaker ships like TIE fighters in battle. Interestingly, the assault gunboat was intended to only be produced in limited quantities, so the general Imperial doctrine of quantity over quality was still upheld in the regular line of ships. That is, until the advent of the TIE Defender and other, more advanced TIE variants. The history of the assault gunboat is full of ups and downs, as it initially was not overwhelmingly successful on its own, and with no other comparable Imperial craft at the time to support it, it often struggled against more well-rounded ships like the X-Wing, or faster ships like the A-Wing, though it could still take an incredible beating and come out relatively unscathed. It fared better against slower, more durable ships like the Y-Wing or the B-Wing, and in terms of firepower, it was rarely matched at the time of its development. And with its heavy armor and shielding, it surpassed other ships in terms of sheer brute force. Since the gunboat was often slower than many other ships, its role regularly fell to being an escort ship or bomber, which honestly suited its skill set just fine. Only with the invention of the fearsome TIE Avenger would the assault gunboat see more widespread use, as these ships were often paired together for raids and assault missions, with the TIE Avengers providing support while the assault gunboats would capture targets and make bombing runs on enemy ships and bases. Sadly, the assault gunboat would eventually be outpaced by the extremely versatile TIE Defender, though when Grand Admiral Demetrius Zarin turned traitor and attempted to gain control of the TIE Defender production facilities, Imperial loyalists turned to the trusty Xg-1 Assault Gunboat to fight against the rogue admiral, and used tractor beam projectors to ward off enemy missiles, and force ships into a standstill so that they could pound them with ion fire and barrage them with laser blasts. The direct successor to the Xg-1 Assault Gunboat was Grand Admiral Thrawn's missile boat, which was developed to fight against Admiral Zarin and his rebellion. While this ship expanded the missile capacity and improved the sublight acceleration, it did not possess ion cannons, so it was often considered a newer version of the ship's design, not a true replacement to the gunboat. The Assault Gunboat is most famously seen throughout the X-Wing series of video games as an Imperial craft. It was introduced in the first X-Wing game so that the Imperial Navy would have a ship with shields to fight against, as the TIE Defender and TIE Avenger were not developed yet. In the second game, TIE Fighter, the Imperial pilot Merrick Steele flies several of these ships as they are used to fight against Admiral Zarin, and several missions in the story mode focus on this conflict. The ships are also seen in the third X-Wing game, X-Wing Alliance, in use by several pirate and mercenary fleets, and the player, Ace Azamine, encounters them when he flies freighters for his family's shipping business, and later for the Rebel Alliance. The Alpha-class gunboat also appears in the X-Wing Miniatures tabletop game as a playable piece, and is featured in the Galactic Empire Conversion Kit, with several different card packs, some of which include the famous New Squadron and Rho Squadron. The Alpha-class Xg-1 Star Wing Assault Gunboat was a revolutionary fighter for the Empire, and would lay the groundwork for future fighters, like the TIE Defender, Missile Boat, and TIE Avenger, which all improved on the success of the extra shielding and weaponry that made the assault gunboats so deadly in combat. Want to know more about great Star Wars topics just like this one? Stick around to the end for some secret trivia, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and chat with me in the comments, and be sure to check out my other videos as well. Super special shout out to my Gold Captain level Patreon supporters Miss 2003, Matthew Scott, and Nick Sutphin. Your support is so appreciated, and you keep the show going. Thank you guys so much. Be sure to support the channel by hitting that like button. If you haven't, hit the subscribe button and chat me up in the comments. All three of those are super helpful in keeping this show going. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.